Hey guys, I wanted to make this video to really kind of give some insight or maybe some hope to some people that are applying to medical school that think maybe they don't have a shot, because that's how I felt. I felt like I just totally was out of my league, out of my depth, being a non-traditional older applicant, having bad grades, not the greatest GPA in the world, and being worried about the MCAT and eventually taking it and doing okay on it. Nothing stellar, 506 MCAT. I think my GPA was a 3.4, something like that. And I really wanted to kind of just put out some information about how you can get in, even if you have stats, similar to that. And what it really comes down to is your story and who you are. And I know that's kind of like cliche to say, because I heard it a whole bunch and I was like, nah, it ain't even gonna be a thing. I'm not even gonna get looked at because I don't even meet their minimum requirements. I mean, I thought that was gonna be an issue, but I kind of put together a program, put together a plan, and I went after the dream and I went after the goal. And you know what? In the end, it turned out really well. I got into the school of my dreams, at least, top choice school for me. And I couldn't be happier with those results, and I'll be starting in August. So this video is just gonna be about basically what I did. When it comes to medical school, you really wanna make yourself stand out from the rest of the people that are applying. You wanna make yourself unique, and you wanna do this by playing to your strengths. Also, talk about how you can add to the diversity of the medical school student body. This can come in a lot of different ways. It can come from your background regarding socioeconomic status. It can come from if you lived in a rural area versus maybe an urban area. So there's a lot of ways you can talk about what makes you unique. Are you a non-traditional student like I am that had a different career before deciding to make the switch to medicine? And that's something that I spoke about a lot. I spoke about coming from a rural background, low socioeconomic status, and really spoke about my previous career and how I was successful in that. And saying that I do understand this change of life. But again, really hammering down, what makes me unique, what I can offer the school, and even how I can be a positive alumnus in the future for the school. When it comes to the personal essay, I spent a lot of time on it, and I know most people do, but you really typically have to have several drafts made up and just work on it continually. It took me at least 2 or 3 months to kind of just get it perfect. Of course, I met with my counselor, a pre-med advisor about how to, polish it. I talked with the writing lab as well. I talked with other physicians that I knew that were mentoring me in a way. They're good friends of mine from when I used to work as a scribe. Just everybody I could. My wife put a lot of input into it as well. And, a lot of times I actually got conflicting information from different sources. So that's when it really comes down to you on how fluid and how accurate you can make it describing yourself, and how you again can be this positive member and productive, successful member of the medical school that you're applying to. The experience section, have 15 of them, no more, no less, and spend some time on them. You really want to have this part stand out. During my interviews, I was definitely asked about different things in my experience section, things that I wasn't even really expecting to get a question about. So, just kind of like, why would you pick that experience? I don't understand, but okay. Yeah, it was cool. I'll tell you about my 30 hours shadowing so-and-so. But I have a novel of other experiences that seem pretty cool too. So work on those experiences, get them down for sure. No doubt that's an important thing. And when it does come time to interviews, you have to make sure you know your application inside and out, because I will admit I didn't do so hot on my first one. All right, well, I'm about to head to the gym, get some leg day in, and then later on, we're finished with the video about how you can get into medical school. Bam. Because if I got in, well, you guys can get in. And I'm definitely gonna be here to help as many of you as I can. And I'm a non-traditional student. Like I said, I'm a little bit older, a little bit more tattooed. I don't know if that's really even the thing that matters. But first things first, we got to hit this gym, and then we're gonna crack the code for you guys. All right, peace. So, a confession, I did not do so great on my first medical school interview, and it was all my fault because I was overconfident. These interviews started rolling in, and I was geeked about it, and I thought, look, I'm 33 years old. I've been to job interviews. I've talked to people my whole life. I got no issues with this. I've, worked in sales. I can dance the dance, and come interview time, it wasn't even, it wasn't working out because I did not know my application as well as I should have. Even though I had written everything in it, I just was kind of taken off guard. I got some really bad advice on YouTube. I saw a video about, a guy, an older guy, gentleman, interviewing a younger, medical school age applicant type woman, female, and I'm not trying to assume gender, but let's just say they said something, and you probably saw the video too. She took a pause for a second, and she said, before she paused, she said, I'm gonna take a moment and think about the question you just asked me so I can give you the best answer possible. And she paused. And then the guy interrupts and goes, this is great, this is wonderful. I want everybody to take note because this is totally okay to do. In medical schools, they'll like this in the interview because it means your question has been thought out. I came out of it getting, a rejection, which we'll talk about too, because it was super embarrassing. But I came out of it knowing that I gotta hammer this interview. I gotta really just knock it out. So I worked with med school coaches. I decided to hire them, and they're pricey, but man, I got, I think, 3 practice interviews with 3 physicians, actually 2. I saw one lady twice and another gentleman once for the final interview. And they're on medical school admissions boards and things like this. They're very experienced with it. They know what medical schools are looking for, and they told me exactly how I need to present myself. And every interview I had after that, I smoked it. I rolled and smoked it, and it was no problem. I just did a really good job on the rest of the interviews. So shout out to med school coach. You guys were beyond phenomenal and dope. I was totally not expecting to get that great of experience out of it and learning experience. So thank you. Practice your interviews. Practice that. Practice looking into the camera. That's huge. Look, I'm not even looking in the camera probably for this whole video, but you got to be looking into the camera when you talk because that's like you're looking them right in the eyes. Totally huge, embarrassing kind of thing happened to me, and I think it's sort of, I don't know how common it is, but it really sucked. So I did my first medical school interview, and I thought I was prepared. Turns out I wasn't, because again, I just thought I'm 33. I've done so many job interviews. I've worked in sales. I could talk to people. I'm gonna do so well. I think people like me sometimes, at least, hopefully, and maybe. So I didn't prepare for the interview. I did a little bit, but nothing special. Did the interview for my first school that I got interview with. And I came out of it thinking that didn't go as great as I thought it did, but okay. And then fast forward 2 weeks, they're real quick with sending out acceptances. I got an acceptance email when I was coming out of the gym. I checked it and it said, congratulations. You, Michael, are accepted to medical school. You're gonna be a doctor. Life's gonna be amazing. Your dream has come true. We're so happy for you and welcome to this family at our medical school. And I was geeked. I was jumping. I was yeah, I called everybody I knew. I was I got in. I was dancing. It's crazy. I was on my way to the barber. I was in the barbershop with all my buddies. I'm telling everybody hey, I got in. I'm a doctor. Look at me. I'm a doctor. And yeah, and then I got a phone call while I was getting my hair cut. And the lady's Michael, I'm so sorry. That was a glitch. It was some kind of error in our computer system. not only were you not accepted, but you were actually flat out rejected. You weren't even waitlisted. And I was like, oh my God. So I just was on the phone, just like getting my haircut, like, you know, like, all right, okay. Yeah, trying not to like say too loudly, like the problem, I guess. Like, not that I didn't or wasn't gonna say anything to him, but to, you know, people at the shop, but I was just trying to like absorb all. It was like, hey, here's your dream, you got it, and then like snatch. So, so yeah, it sucked, man. It sucked. I called up everybody right afterwards, told them, hey, I didn't get accepted. Spoke to a couple of my mentors on the phone, were already told, you know, a half hour earlier I got accepted. Look, I didn't get accepted. It was a mistake. But, you know, you live and learn. But I came out of it really realizing that I got to get this interview down, because interviews were starting to come in, and I realized these schools wanted me, but because I didn't prepare the way I should have for that interview, I didn't perform my best. And that it was a big deal. It was a big thing, doing these video interviews and making sure you practice for them. So practice it. Don't end up in the same boat, hopefully, that I was in, because it was lame. What's up, everybody? My name is Michael, and welcome to my first video in a series of videos that's going to be documenting my week-to-week life in medical school. And for this first video, I really wanted to talk about my background and what allowed me, a very non-traditional medical school applicant, to get accepted to medical school. Let's go.